Hello there, Big Benedict here. We're still listening to Deflator Mass, and we're still playing Batman Arkham Asylum because it's a fantastic game worthy of the merited praise that it's gotten over the years. So this is installment 5, part 5 as I think I'm calling them, and we should have the Poison Ivy boss fight. If this is going to end up being a very long video, it will definitely include that boss fight. You see, the problem with this is that I only have about 13 minutes of footage at the time that I'm doing this, so I don't know how far that boss is, but I believe she's in some section of the Botanical Gardens. Now this scenario here is standard fare. We have the guys wearing the suicide collars, and you can usually get 2 of them down before the other ones start getting alerted. There will be one scenario, I think it's the next stealth section. It won't be the next literal part, but it will be the next stealth section, where you have to kill the operator first before you kill the enemies with the suicide collars. What's going on in those scenarios is that you have one guy controlling all of the others, and you need to take out him before the others are dispatched. So this is one of those parts way back when I first played this where I got lost. You know, you might say, you know, how can you get lost in a game that you openly declared a couple of videos back that's not open world? Even though it's open world, it's still vast, and there's still a lot of world to it. So anyway, I'm pretty aggressive on these sequences. It is bold, and you know, you're not meant to kill these guys fist to fist, because if you try to do it in the usual way, they will shoot you to death. And I have very limited body armor. I mean, I have only the default body armor. If you're wondering how many upgrades I currently have available, I have 7 unused upgrades. I probably could have at least one more if I had been, you know, smashing all of the chattering teeth on the ground, even though they don't net you too much. But if I had, you know, been getting more riddles, scanning more of the environment, you know, those environmental puzzles, you scan them. So possibly 2 more upgrades if I had gone whole hog, so to speak, since I am a hog. I'm not really a hog as far as food. I need to lose about 20 pounds, though, so I'm going to have to start doing some cardio and some weightlifting. So what do we have here? We're in the generator room, and we have one enemy who's being held hostage. So just remember that on the wielders of the tasers, you need to double jump over them and then hit them from behind and get them out of the picture first. You always want that to be your first priority when there's a large group of enemies and there's a couple of difficult variables in there. So this is the room that's directly above where we're at, and I changed what I was doing with the rendering. I'm no longer rendering these in 60 frames per second because it takes too much of a toll on my CPU. And to be honest, when I upgrade them in 720p at 60 frames per second and I look at them on Chrome, they're ugly. I mean, they look better on my phone because my phone is, you know, the smaller the screen, the more compact it is, and the better it can look. I mean, obviously you can't see as many details, but as on a large screen. But I decided, why am I even rendering? These are huge files, and they look terrible. And this game does usually stay in like the 50s and like the high 40s as far as what I see on my when I glance at it. I don't see too many. I don't see it reaching 60 all the time. So it is pretty easy to get lost here. So you want to take a left over here, do the auto jump that the game does. I'm always distrustful of games that take away control from me. Like when I first realized my brother had to explain what was going on when he was way back when he was playing Zelda. Like the first Zelda that came out for the N64. Like, I said to him, why can't you jump? Why does the fucking computer jump for you? And it's been a kind of a joke that I've always said to him, and I always say to him, like, whenever a new game is coming out, I say, can you jump in it? Even though, you know, even if it's like Resident Evil or something, which obviously there's no jumping in games like that. Okay, so this is the room. Why the hell am I going over here? Okay, because I have to, obviously. I thought I had taken a wrong turn over here. This is the next stealth section of which I spoke, and the operator is in the cocoon-like room in the middle. So you have to go past a couple of enemies, and you have to literally stealth past them. There's no taking them out or stealthily killing them. It's pretty simple, actually. The best thing that I found to do is just do exactly this, because nobody will spot you. And what you want to do is just wait for this guy to make his rounds, which is going to be straight across from where we are. He's going to take a break right there, and then he's going to turn back. So once you take out the operator, then you'll secure a checkpoint, and then you can go kill the 3 remaining enemies. Just beware of this guy. Now, if he sees you, it's not failure because you can take him out, but just remember he has a gun, and you with no upgrading your body armor, there's very little chance. There's no getting away. That's what I found so far, and that's how it will remain. So I'm going to do this trick that I premiered a couple of videos back, where you spray some gel around where the body's at, because these guys will always go investigate it. One guy will go right up to him. This happens every time. One guy will go right up to it, the other guy will kind of have the other guy's back, who's looking down at that guy. So I ran past this door so many times over here, and Jesus Christ, can you get your arm to stop twitching? Look at that. I ran past this door so many times, I can't tell you how difficult this was, and it was staring me right in the fucking face. So, kind of embarrassing, actually. I was looking for like 30 minutes, and I had a particular edit. Well, I won't go into it. But anyway, we've got 2 Titans here, and for me, the left one always charged at me first. I'm not sure if that's how it works every time, but I'm no longer evading with the analog plus the A button. It just, I mean, you might see me do it occasionally, but the majority of the time, what I'm going to do is just do a sprint. Watch how he, see how he does that stop motion with his other foot. It's very realistic, but it kind of slows you down. So these guys are going to tear up those whatever they are, I don't know what the fuck they are, but they're going to smash them at some point, you know, collaterally. What's going on here is that you just want to target them, sprint away, double back and then pound them as many times as possible. What sometimes happens is the other Titan is about to charge you when you're starting to punch the one who's just come to a stop, and it can be kind of annoying because you just earn those hits by successfully evading and doubling back and doing your punches. And then to mount him, you press the X button, and you have iframes when you're mounting him. And then you just want to aim at the Titan at the other one. And if you hit him enough times, the one that you're hitting will fall down and be stunned. So, I think the only damage I ever received here, this took about 5 times, was just them throwing people at me. That's the only thing I got hit by because I've learned how to evade now. It's just, that was a hard corner to get out of. I'm not blaming the game. It's just my positioning. Kind of set me up for a fall there. So you want to take about 3 hits and just make sure that you're listening for the other Titan. When he roars, that means he's charging. The camera works fine here. No problems in that department. So when they're blinded, they'll sometimes slash at the other Titan and damage him. Sometimes they'll charge and run into the other one. So the best advice on these guys is to use them as weapons, just as we're doing here. So you don't get any checkpoints here, but it's not hard. I was expecting a room full of fucking lackeys over here. A little dangerous doing that because I was skirting around that one enemy. And one time that actually failed me. I was trying to mount the Titan, but the detection on it. Oh, there. See, he hit the other one. Now he's blinded. So, very oafish enemies. Fun enemies, though. This is a fun fight. So I'm actually aiming with the Batarang. It's fine to double tap it, but I just want that extra layer of precision. And if you can be patient here, you shouldn't have any problems with this fight. The Bane fight is actually more challenging than this one. And I think the sole reason is lackeys. I can come to grips with lackeys, but I will always hate lackeys in fights. Just give me a boss. Don't put any superfluous, just extra padding and protection for a boss who shouldn't need protection because he's a fucking boss. Sorry to swear so much, but it's just annoying. I hate lackeys. But my hatred of lackeys notwithstanding, I do think that even if they had been there, it would have been a manageable fight because those enemies are really stupid as far as what they do and how they react to you. But right there, in case that what I just did right there confuses you, what happened was I got to the edge of the pit, and what happens is Batman turns around and they drop off the remote claw for him. So what I did was I just edited out him turning around, getting the remote claw, going back to the chasm's edge. So what we have to do now is find Poison Ivy, but Poison Ivy is not going to be in this video, even though I alluded to her being in the video. Let's see, if there's a crossfade here, it's because you go see Poison Ivy, but she needs something. You could actually pull some of these fuckers into the pit here, but they get wise to it. That's the thing. They start guarding against it, but I dragged like 4 enemies into that pit. So you use the remote claw to get yourself across the chasm, and if you want to, as I mentioned, you can use the back claw to throw some of them in there if you want to. I threw one in there just to demonstrate it. Kind of funny how you can do things like that in games. But I think this game's main problem for me is having to always hold down the A button while I'm running, as well as moving the analog stick in the direction I need to go. That's the #1 problem for me. Second problem is just the speed at which you move when you're not running. He has that hulking, chest out, slow walk. I mean, I have never seen anything as slow as his normal gait. And I honestly think that they could fix it to the point where, when you're running around, just tilting the analog in any direction makes him move as fast as he does when you're running. Now, obviously, that would be a problem if you're in a stealth section, because if you're running near enemies, they're going to hear you. So all they need to do is have it so that when you're in those stealth moments, I think they're called predator sequences, all they have to do, and maybe I'm oversimplifying it, and I'm sorry if I am, which I truly probably am. All they have to do is just have the normal gait, the one that I'm complaining about, GAIT, movement. All they have to do is have that turn on or activate whenever he goes into the stealth moments. And then have it resume once you take down the last guy, once the slow motion kicks in, once you take down the last guy. Am I wrong? I mean, I know I'm oversimplifying it. It might need more fine-tuning than that, but on a basic level, that's all I want. Because, no offense, but I never, in this entire campaign, ever have to walk that slow. So, and I'm also surprised that they let you get away with this. I just stumbled across this. I'm sure people know about it, but I haven't been searching for it. So basically, you till. We're tilling soil here, you guys. I'm learning how to talk in the process. Speech impediment time. But anyway, you take one enemy down, and this, you don't even have to put 3 squirts down of this. And a lesser commentator would make sexual jokes about the word squirt. But I'm not a channel like that. I take things seriously. This is a serious game, and I'm not just here for jokes, That's my number one pet peeve. If you're not being serious when you're talking about the game, then fuck you, get out of my sight. That's how strongly I feel about it. I'm never going to subscribe to somebody who's just a joker. No pun intended. It makes me sick. I need people who are serious. And I'm glad, you guys are all on board. You probably share my type of mentality. And we're almost at the end of the video, and I have a wealth of other things to talk about. But conveniently, we're at the point at which the video is going to conclude, so I don't even have to have had topics to discuss. I could just say that I had them. But I'm an honest person, an honest tradesman in real life, and I'm going to see you guys in video 6. Take care.